Hi, I'm Martin Jarvis, and I have the task of convincing you to buy something that you don't know that you need. Now, that's the no-no in marketing and in sales, is that you actually are supposed to approach folks with what you know they want and try to sell that to them. That's the way it normally works. But Henry Ford once said that if I had given the people what they wanted, I would have just created a faster horse. Okay, so we know, thanks to Henry Ford, it was good that he didn't listen to the desires of the people, because he knew, or he thought he knew, what they really needed. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. I have some books. I've written some books. And so I want to share those books with you today. And I want to tell you right up front, my job is to convince you to buy something that you don't know you need. Because we do audiobooks. Audiobooks are the thing. I mean, I've listened to probably 600 audiobooks, maybe a little bit more, over the years, over maybe 15 or so years. So I understand the power of audiobooks and the comfort and the convenience of audiobooks. But when you find a book that has a depth to it, that every chapter will give you something thick, something that you need for your life, it's good to have those type books sitting around. I mean, if it's of worth. So, sort of like the Bible. And I know I have the Bible on audio, and so don't get me wrong, I've studied like the Bhagavad Gita and the Quran, and so many philosophy books and history books, and science, and anything you could think of. You know, I've studied. I have those audiobooks. Okay, but when you have something thick, you know, like a philosophy book or a Bible or something that you can get encouragement or something, a motivation out of, you want to have those sitting around. Because sometimes, you know, in life, when we go through things, when we have serious issues that we're facing, we really don't feel like going and let me find an audiobook that has to do with this. We just might feel like just sitting down and just chilling out. And maybe that book is sitting there on our desk or on our coffee table, by the couch or whatever. And we just pick it up and read something. I know for me, years ago, I mean, I had such a destructive lifestyle. And I was doing every kind of thing. Joined the military when I was 17 years old and just went buck wild, you know. And with the drinking and the smoking and the buzz and just the destructive lifestyle. And then one night I couldn't sleep. And rather than get that buzz, I just thought I'd open up this Bible that I had in my library, a Bible, and I was an atheist at the time, but I had a Bible sitting next to Plato's Republic, that Lao Tzu, The Importance of Living by Lin Yutang. It was just one of my philosophy books that I figured, almost for a joke, I'd just take this Bible, just open it up and start reading, and it put me to sleep. Okay, I was raised in church. I knew it would just put me to sleep. It was almost like a joke that I chose to do that rather than get that buzz as I ordinarily would do. And I opened that, and this isn't a religious pitch. I'm just sharing you the importance of having a book laying around. So I just grabbed this book and I just opened it anywhere. Because I knew this Bible. I was raised in Sunday school and all the way up until I went in the military at age 17. So I just opened it up anywhere and just started reading. And I was an atheist, mind you. But all of a sudden, within like 40 seconds, I just knew there was God. An intelligent designer. The source of creation, of our existence, all that stuff. However you want to paint it. But I had been an atheist. But I just grabbed the book. And so I'm just suggesting if that book hadn't been, the key is, I decided to change my life that night. I began reflecting on my life and the destructive nature of it. I was 28 then. I had left home at 17 and was an atheist not long. And I had just adopted all kinds of habits that just were not good, but I didn't realize they were not good, but I just wanted to change. And I got up in the morning and I went through my apartment. And I began to pick out everything that I loved, everything in my apartment that I figured had defined me, okay? So I had trophies, baseball, bowling, and karate trophies. I had artifacts I had picked up in Japan and Korea. I had a jazz album collection. I had plants. I was growing my own. I had all these things in my apartment that I loved. I picked them all out and took them all to the dumpster that day. Because I didn't identify with those things anymore. Those things I had identified with, and I believe that environment had encouraged me to continue in that particular direction. I was 28 then. I'll be 68 this year in 2026. And I've lived a life without the addictions, without the drugs, without the alcohol, without the debauchery, without the destructive lifestyle, all this time. You know, I have kids now, you know, grown kids. And they don't know Marty. They only know Martin. Some of y'all can identify with that, okay? But anyway, over the course of my life, you know, I've learned some things. And so I've written books. I went to school. I was a guy with just a high school diploma. 50 years old, I decided to go to night school while I was working. 10 years later, I had earned my associate degree, my bachelor degree, and my MBA. And I decided to start writing some books. Now, that was back in 2019 when I graduated with that MBA. And I've written quite a few books, and some of those I want to pitch to you right now because I think they're important. Again, they're important to have laying around. If I hadn't had that Bible in my library, you know, if I said, let me go get an audiobook of the Bible and see if it'll put me to sleep and just hit First Kings or something, you know, it wouldn't have had the impact. The impact was that it was laying there. Well, it was up in my library, and I just grabbed it. It was available. I just opened it anywhere and just started reading. And it changed my life. So don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing audiobooks because I use them because they're very convenient. But when you're looking at life change, when you're thinking about something and say, let me go back and look at that. I know that's in that book, or maybe that's in the book. I don't know. You need that book handy.